All right, so good morning, everyone. 5 of you have joined Pear Deck. If you haven't, you can go to joinpd.com and type in the code PKPPY, Purple Kangaroos Pursue Purple Yards. I'll also put the link in the chat room. I think it's already there. If you don't see it, just write me in the chat room and let me know. Like I said, I'll have you guys muted because we're recording this session for any students who aren't able to sign on right now but would like to view the videos later. All right, let's get started. Okay, so I just want to give you guys some daily routines for our remote learning that we're doing due to COVID-19. So the first thing you want to do every day is make sure you sign into Schoology and check in at each of your classes. For my class, you should see a Google form where you're just going to write your first and last name, and that just helps us take attendance since we're not actually at school, and it helps us know who's engaged and who's not. And then for my class specifically, I want you to go to Google Classroom and check the stream and your grades under Classroom/view your work. I will be trying to grade much faster than usual. And it should be helpful since we are only having face-to-face instruction on Tuesdays and Thursdays. After you do that, make sure you check under the classwork tab in Google Classroom and check your weekly folder for videos, presentations, and assignments. You can also check the resources section to see if I've given you any resources. I just wanted to make sure you have these daily routines down. All right, before we get started, I just want to do a quick stress check. So on your screen, you should be able to drag the icon to say how you're feeling right now amidst all of this craziness in this time. Let's see if you moving. Here I'm going to show the responses. You can still move. I haven't locked it. Okay, so it seems like we have a range, but I have some people seem like they are pretty stressed out with the current situation. And that's really, really understandable. But I just want to make sure that you are really trying to give yourself just some grace in this time. I know it might be a lot of work that's coming up for you to do, and your teachers are also feeling like we have a whole lot of work too. But spring break is next week, and so you should really be hearing from us, and so it should give you a chance to rest and catch up. Also, just know that same way as it is in school, if you have something that you're turning in late, that I'll be taking it. But you can also email your other teachers or write them on Schoology and let them know if you're struggling to meet deadlines or do assignments. But hopefully, our stress will get better as we go throughout these weeks with learning how to do remote learning. By the way, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to write me in the chat room, and I can see it right now. Okay. Well, although we know that we do have some stressors in life, I always want us to try to focus on the things that are good in our lives. And so I would love for you to describe something that's bright in your life right now. What's something bright in your life, something that you're happy about or thankful for? I'll give us a little bit more time to write these. Yes, I agree with some of these I've seen. Nice. Okay, I'm going to show some responses. You can still write if you're writing, but I want to show the responses. Okay, so someone said they haven't had any trouble with the computer, which is a good thing. Yes, having the computers work when we need them like this is a great thing. So true. I'm thankful that none of their family has gotten sick with the virus yet. Yes, I'm so happy that you guys are healthy. That the virus is pretty gnarly. So I am glad that none of you are sick. My friend and his entire family are sick with COVID, and it's been rough for them. Someone is happy about Wi-Fi. Yes, Wi-Fi is great, guys. I'm happy just about having electricity. Period. Someone said everyone in their family is healthy, such a blessing. Someone said food and sleep. That is wonderful. Someone said taking naps. My goodness, naps are so good. Yes, these are the things to be truly grateful for. So I'm glad that we do have some bright things in our life right now. So someone said they're alive and healthy and they're sleeping more. Love it. Okay, let's get into our lesson then now that we've checked in with one another. So, for our agenda today, what we're learning, we're going to be learning about what is cancer. We're going to answer that question. We're going to identify the difference between normal cell division and cancerous cell division. And then we're going to look at the role of oncogenes and tumor suppressor genes in cell division. So we're going to learn this by taking notes on the slides in this presentation. Now, I know this presentation is going to go pretty fast, so that's why I'm recording it. And also, you'll have the slides posted in Google Classroom for you after the presentation is over. And you're also going to watch a video about the biology of cancer, not in this presentation, but after it. So you're going to show what you've learned by answering questions about the biology of cancer in Edpuzzle. So you'll have an Edpuzzle assignment. Okay, but before we do this, I want if you guys can, if you are using a computer right now, I would love if you could open another tab and tell me if that My PLTW is actually working. You can click on the link for Schoology right here. This is actually a link. You can click that. And when you get to my course, the medical interventions course, if you look on the left-hand side, you should see My PLTW somewhere. And if you click that and then click students, you should be able to sign in with your LAUSD email. But I knew it wasn't working a few weeks ago, and I was just hopeful that it might be working now, but I'm not sure if it is or not. If it does work, if you write me in the chat room, that would be wonderful because then I will figure out if I can give you guys some readings from there because I think it'll be really helpful for you. Awesome. Okay. Well, I don't know why I have this twice. Oh, I think I had a question. If it worked? You can just say yes or no. And the link is still there. Okay, so I see someone say it isn't working. Ooh, I don't know why they didn't fix this. Okay, well, thank you for letting me know. Thank you for trying. I would write ITD, but they are very, very busy with everybody using the computer, so I think they're overwhelmed. Thanks, guys. Thank you for checking. All right, well, moving on. Okay, so I want to know, what do you already know and what do you wonder about cancer? What's something you already know and what's something you wonder about cancer? And once again, thank you guys for checking that link for me. Okay, about 30 more seconds and then I'll start sharing answers. I'll unlock it after the 30 seconds as well. I see some really good questions here. Okay, I'm unlocking if you're not finished. So someone said they know that cancer can be treated with chemo and they wonder how long it has been around. Great question. Someone says they know that cancer can spread quickly or slowly throughout the body. I wonder what causes it to spread quickly or slowly. Very good question. Someone knows that large animals rarely get cancer, and if a person was bigger, does it have less chance of having cancer? Interesting. Good question. Cancer is deadly and chemotherapy is a scam. I want to know if there is a cure. Good question. Okay. It can be inherited by one of your family members. There are different types of cancers. And it says someone's saying it can show no symptoms until until it's too bad or something like that, until it's at a late stage. These are good things that you know, and I see some great questions. I hope that as we study more, that we will understand the biology of cancer and whether or not there can be a cure and what's so difficult about finding a cure. Okay, I'm going to move on from this slide. So sorry to those who are still writing. Okay, so let's say what is cancer. So now that you are in a biotechnology class, I don't want you to think of cancer the way that non-scientists think of cancer. I want you to think of cancer as a scientist. So cancer is not one disease. It's a large group of diseases. It's over 100 different diseases that's put under an umbrella term as cancer. So it's like saying, what is human? Like there are billions of humans on the planet, right? And so cancer is lots of different diseases. And the issue is that every cancer is characterized by uncontrolled growth and a spread of abnormal cells. So basically, if you want to think of cancer, cancer is like zombies. It's an uncontrolled growth and spread of abnormal cells. So in zombie movies, there's an uncontrolled growth and abnormal spread of zombie humans. So if you want to think of cancer, the closest thing that we know would be thinking about the zombies. And most cancers are usually recognized when we have some signs or symptoms that appear. And someone mentioned that we noticed it with signs and symptoms, and sometimes it's at a late stage. So then who is affected by cancer? So there are certain factors that can increase your chances that you will develop cancer. So sorry, someone had a question of do we copy that? You can copy those. Like I said, I'll put this presentation in Google Classroom so that you'll have them and then you can be able to take better notes later. All right, so you can have risk factors that can increase your chance of developing a type of cancer. Some risk factors can be things that you do or things that you are around. And some risk factors can be genetic predispositions, or so some things that are in your genes that make you more prone to getting certain types of cancers. And so if you're at risk for developing a certain type of cancer, you're more likely to develop that type, but you may not develop it. So risk factors don't mean that you definitely will get cancer. It just means that they are correlated with the development of that cancer. Okay, let's get a little bit deeper into the biology of cancer. So there's many different types of cancers. You can have a cancer almost anywhere in your body. So carcinomas are on internal or external body surfaces. Those are carcinomas. Sarcomas are in the supporting tissues of your body. Lymphomas are found in your lymph nodes. And then leukemias are found in your bloodstream. All right, so what in the world is cancer and how does it even start? So, in your body, your cells normally divide. You probably learned about this in biology, it's called mitosis. Your cells have to divide because our cells do get old and you have to make new cells. Also, cells are dividing when you're growing. So, a lot of you are still growing as teenagers. So, cell division helps us maintain our body and helps us grow. And it's normal. But if you remember in cell division, you have to copy DNA, and sometimes you have some issues when you do that. And so maybe if you copy the DNA and you didn't do that very well, you can have cell damage. And if the cell is so damaged that it can't be repaired, that cell actually dies by committing suicide. And cell suicide is called apoptosis. Apoptosis. And so this is normal tissue growth. This is what happens normally. Now with cancer cells, this damaged cell somehow decides not to commit suicide. And then it just makes more of itself. And so then because it already had this issue, it then develops another mutation. And then it develops another mutation, and then another mutation. And eventually you get these cancerous cells that have uncontrolled cell growth due to all these mutations. Like I said, they become like zombies. So then you can have these, you can have malignant or you can have benign tumors. And so benign tumor cells grow only locally, they don't spread or invade or metastasize. So this word metastasis is what someone else mentioned about cancer spreading throughout the body. So malignant cancer cells, what they do is they tell the body to give them some blood vessels. And if they get blood vessels to feed them, then the cancer cells go into those blood vessels and then they travel to different parts of the body. And that is called metastasis, that process of cancer cells invading the body like that. Okay, so then why is cancer dangerous? So it's potentially dangerous because the malignant tumors can spread to parts of the body. And really, the big issue is that they disrupt the function of vital organs. So, cancer cells, if you see in this picture, you see that melanoma is the initial tumor. And this melanoma then travels to the liver, it travels to the brain, and it's traveling all over the body. And so then you're having a cancer cell, which started off as a skin cell in the liver. There's no reason that skin cells, especially zombie skin cells, should be in the liver or the brain. And then they start to interrupt the function of those tissues. And because they're interrupting the function of the tissues, they interrupt the function of the organs. And so, really, cancer leads to your organs not being able to function correctly because they've been invaded. Okay, so then how in the world do these mutations occur? So we have specific genes that are important for cell division. And what happens is chemicals, viruses, radiation, and like genetics can lead to chromosome changes or DNA changes that can lead to cancer. So if you know we live in California, there's a whole lot of products that have to label themselves in California that say that these are known to be associated with cancer. So if you've ever bought something like at the dollar store, there's a whole bunch of things at the dollar store that have to put that little sticker on it that says that they're associated with cancer. And it just means that certain chemicals have been associated with being able to cause mutations in certain people's DNA and leading to cancer. And certain viruses can do that as well. Okay, so just quickly, you know DNA structure already. You see these bases here. These are your chemical bases, and we have A, T, C, and G. And then what happens is that you can get a mutation in many different ways. We've already learned about some of those with PTC, but you can have a single base change. So here, instead of having a T in a normal gene, it became a G. So that's a single base mutation. You can have an addition mutation where they added a G in here where there should have just been that C. Or you can have a deletion mutation. Sorry that you can't see it at the bottom, where the C and the T that were normally there are taken out. Those are types of mutations. And so our first set of genes that we're going to talk about that if they get mutated, that they can lead to cancer are called oncogenes. So oncogenes normally regulate cell growth. And these, when they're normal, when the genes are normal, they're called proto-oncogenes. Proto-oncogenes are the good ones. Those are the normal genes that we have that help our cells divide. We need our cells to divide. But if the proto-oncogene gets mutated, it can become an oncogene. So this mutation here is making this proto-oncogene become an oncogene. And basically that makes the cell growth and division accelerate. It just, your cells just keep dividing, instead of dividing at a normal pace when the proto-oncogene becomes an oncogene. So yeah, with proto-oncogenes, they just tell your cells to divide. This is just showing a pathway where your cell responds to growth factors, and it tells the cell to divide. But if you have a mutant oncogene rather than a proto-oncogene, then the cell is just going to divide even if nothing is binding to that receptor. It doesn't care. The cells will just divide and invade. So you see these green ones? These are the zombie cells or the cancerous cells that are dividing when no one asks them to. So this is a quick check. True or false? You can decide on your screen. Oncogenes promote cancerous cell growth and proto-oncogenes promote normal cell growth. Is that true or false? What do you guys think? Waiting for a few other people. True or false? Oncogenes promote cancerous cell growth and proto-oncogenes promote normal cell growth. Oh my goodness, we're split in half. Well, we're leaning one way. Okay, so let's look back. So oncogenes are mutant forms of proto-oncogenes. So oncogenes are the one that promote cancerous cell growth, and proto-oncogenes are normal and they promote normal cell growth. So then if I show responses, where are we at now? Good, much better. Yes, so that is a true statement that oncogenes promote cancerous cell growth and proto-oncogenes promote normal cell growth. And so if you want to write anything down, make sure you know that part. Okay, and I'll go over tumor suppressor genes and then we'll continue on Thursday. So then we talked about oncogenes. So oncogenes, think about like in a car, oncogenes are like the gas pedal. So proto-oncogenes are normal gas pedal, but oncogenes are gas pedals that got stuck. So if the gas pedal gets stuck, the car is going to keep going whether you want it to or not, and that's an issue. But in cars, you have two pedals. We have the gas and we have the brakes. So tumor suppressor genes are the brakes. So in a normal cell, tumor suppressor genes tell the cell to stop dividing. We're like, okay, we don't need any more division, chill out. But in a cancer cell, these tumor suppressor genes get damaged. And if they're damaged, they no longer work well. And then it leads to cancer because now not only is your gas stuck, now you also have your brakes cut. So now the car is going to keep going no matter what because the brakes don't work and the gas is stuck down. And that's what often happens in the development of cancer cells. So like I said, tumor suppressor genes are like a brake pedal and they tell the cell not to divide. And I'll come back to this later. So just a quick reminder that in a cell, proto-oncogenes are the gas and tumor suppressor genes are the brakes. If both of these get damaged, it leads to a normal cell becoming a zombie cancer cell. And that is the main takeaway that I want you guys to understand today. But you'll be watching a video that is much more in depth. So I just want to make sure I showed you your assignments. So I've seen some of you do these assignments and some have not. So I just want to make sure you know about them. So stories of cancer and cancer trends. This assignment was due March 16th. I want you to make sure you get it done so that I can be grading most of your assignments together. The next one was a family bulletin number 3 that was also due March 16th. And then what was on March 27th was why don't large animals get cancer? And I saw that somebody mentioned that, so they watched the video. Great job. That was due March 25th. Why don't large animals get cancer? You had to watch the video and give a response. But your new assignment is an Ed puzzle. It's an animated introduction to cancer biology. So you watch the video and you answer the questions like we've done in Ed puzzle. So I'll show you these assignments and where they're located in your Google Classroom. So when you sign into Google Classroom, you should see the stream here. This is the new assignment. The Ed puzzle one is at the top of the stream, but you can also go to classwork And so you can see the family bulletin here. That was in week 9. In week 10, you had the story of cancer and cancer trends. In week 11, we had why don't large animals get cancer? And then today, I just mentioned and I posted the Ed puzzle assignment. So